Welcome back, Collective, to Lightbridge Tarot. This is Tanya. This video is timeless, so when this message reaches you, the message is for you. Divine, what do you have for the collective today? We're going to get into our heart space. Let's take a deep breath. Let it out. Feels amazing, doesn't it? All right, let's get into our heart space. One more shuffle. All right. I'll do this one more shuffle. Let's see what we got. Okay. The Empress. Star card in reverse. And this Nine of Wands in reverse. All right, collective. So the first card that came out was the Nine of Wands. It's like you've been working so hard in this situation that you're ready to give up. Like you're almost at the finish line and you are ready to stop. You're ready to wave the white flag, or like you are exhausted and you're feeling the weight of it and you're just ready to say, you know what? I'm done with this situation. But you're almost at the finish line, so you have to be a little bit more patient with this situation. I'm thinking. So I'm going to move into card number 2. And what's interesting about card number 2, the star card is wish fulfillment, is wishing on a star, is having the grace and hope and faith and healing. So at this time, it's showing that you lost faith. Like you are so exhausted with this situation, and that you're not seeing the progress that you thought that you were expecting at this time, and you're not seeing that. What happens with expectations? Sometimes expectations, we set such high goals and high expectations that we tend to be our worst enemies when it comes to that. So at this time, the divine is seeing you, noticing that you are at a time where you have reached your wit's end with the situation. I'm going to move into card number 2. Okay, collective. So card number 3, the Empress, which I love is card number 3, but also represents the number 3. The Empress is the divine feminine. She is nurturing. She has everything that she pours into, she nurtures it. Whether it is a garden, whether it is a craft, whether it is work, whether it is her family. She is the divine feminine, where also it could be maybe a pregnancy, birthing a new baby. And as you can see, she has babies here, but she's also the feminine archetype, the Empress. She brings fertility. And so what the divine wants you to know, that they see your hard work. They see that it has not been easy. And the divine wants you to channel this energy. The divine wants you to pour back into yourself, to nurture yourself, to be compassionate with yourself, to be patient, to be kind, and to pour back into yourself. Okay? Don't forget how important it is to protect your mental health during this difficult phase that you are experiencing at this time. And it is very necessary. Try to not control the situation. That don't lose hope. Continue to persevere, and to continue to have willpower, and but also be graceful. Okay. Be compassionate with yourself, be nurturing, pour in back to yourself, however that looks like, collective. And I want to close out with a message because I think it's necessary. So I'm going to brainstorm the message, or do I dive back? Do I grab an oracle deck? I'll be right back. Okay, collective. So let's just tie this in. The Nine of Wands is just like the divine is noticing, is recognizing that you're pushing, you're pushing it. That you are definitely exhausted. The divine sees that you lost hope, that you're willing to just be done with the situation. You're ready to give up. And you're almost at the finish line. You're almost there. I know it's exhausting. I know it is difficult. I know it is challenging. But the divine wants you to go and nurture yourself. Wants you to channel this Empress energy. And hone that energy in, and pour back into yourself, nurture yourself, give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of love. It is very necessary for you today. So stop trying to control the outcome. I know sometimes we set certain expectations and it doesn't meet our requirements at the time, but however, continue to push through this situation. You have what it takes. Don't lose hope, collective. Make sure that you are nurturing yourself because you're at the final stretch. Okay. And ground yourself, get back with nature. I hope this message brought you the peace and clarity that your soul required. I actually don't want to stop right now. I'm going to do a oracle. I'm going to do an oracle. Bear with me. Okay, collective. We're going to pull the oracle deck. So let's get into our heart space. Take a deep breath with me. Let it out. Okay. Let's see what the Whispers of Love has to close out the message for our read. One more. There we go. Okay. Okay, collective. So we have love endures. Okay. When we see this card, there's a lot going on. But however, let me read the description. Love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. And I love that this card came up next because we have the star card where it says lost and lack of faith, right? So it's tying this message together. Okay. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. We see a lot of stuff going on right now. We see that there's rough waters. Waters is emotions, and so you've been dealing with a lot of emotions. You've been holding on to these ones way too long. That's what it's saying, right? And the boat is continuing to keep things in motion. Okay. Yes, there's a lot going on, right? And you're holding it all together. The lion's head right here is having the courage. And what I love that I just noticed that it has the wings. Continue to fly, continue to have perseverance and willpower to get through this and channel this lion energy as well. Have the courage to continue to get through this situation. I love that there's a lamp here, because it may have been that things are feeling a little bit dark, but just have a little bit more faith, have a little bit more hope. There's light in darkness. Okay. And I love that there is a castle here as well, because you're trying to get to the finish line, but you're losing a little hope here. But the divine wants you to know that to nurture yourself, to bring love and compassion and kindness right back to yourself. Okay. Stop fighting the current by trying to force and control the outcome. Step fully into your inner empress. Protect your mental health. Drop your shoulders and let yourself rest. You're at the final stretch, collective. Now, you haven't come this far just to lose your way. Love endures, and so do you. Okay? Trust the timing. And I hope that this message brought you the peace and clarity that your soul required today. And remember, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Thank you for watching Lightbridge Tarot. See you on the other side.